Hello, dear viewer. Today I will tell the story of a character from the new update in Avatar World. She's not so easy to find, all because of one Avatar World villain who hid her costume in a magical hiding place and kept it there for many hundreds of years. But about everything in order, and let's start with the character himself. Her name is Lyla, and she is one of the main characters of the game. Do you know why? One of the buildings in Avatar World belongs entirely to her. And of course, it's a pet store. Yes, you heard right. The pet store belongs to Lyla, and she's in charge there. Lyla loves animals very much, but most of all, she likes turtles. You may have noticed that there are no turtles at all in the pet store. One day, Lyla instructed all her employees to find turtles for the pet store. But after searching the whole world of Avatar World, they never found a single turtle. Lyla couldn't contain her emotions and yelled at one of her employees for not being able to find even one turtle. This employee was very angry, but did not show it because he had a plan for revenge on Lyla. When the shopkeeper went to bed, he snuck into her house. By the way, I completely forgot to tell you, his name is Oliver. Oliver broke into Lyla's house and stole her favorite turtle costume. In the morning, there was no trace of the suit and Oliver. When Lyla woke up, she was just terrified of what had happened. She searched the whole house, but she never found her favorite turtle costume. Upset and at the same time very angry, Lyla went to the pet store. There she met Oliver, who laughed at her very loudly. Lyla immediately realized what had happened and ordered her to immediately tell her where her suit was. But Oliver, as expected, did not tell her about it. Instead, he just continued to make fun of her. And then Lyla realized what had happened. Her favorite costume was hidden in this magical safe in the form of a turtle. She immediately started trying to open it by solving the riddle, but she couldn't do anything. Lyla apologized to Oliver a bunch of times and asked him to return the suit, but he didn't want to do it in any way. Then she decided that she would return to the store at night with one of her employees and once again try to solve this mystery. At night, the two of them returned to the store and tried to open this lock for several hours in a row. And after more than 1,000 attempts, they succeeded. Lyla put on her turtle costume again, and from that moment on was very polite to everyone. Avatar World's villain wasn't as simple as you think. Oliver was a cunning and savvy, in general, a very unusual villain. His hobby is the invention of complex puzzles and mechanisms. He not only just created caches, but also made them really confusing, using the magic and technology of the Avatar World. He wanted to become a scientist-engineer when he was in school, but due to lack of time, he could not pass the exams perfectly. Therefore, at night, when the school was completely empty, Oliver came to the classroom and studied himself. He studied the magic and secrets of the Avatar World to create his safes. By the way, one of his hiding places is the same turtle in the pet store in which he hid Layla's costume. He made it special by adding magic buttons of different colors, each of which had to be pressed not just in turn, but also at the right time. Guess what I'm talking about? Yes, it is strictly forbidden to try to open this safe at 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't even ask why, it's very secret. Everyone who tried to do this disappeared from Avatar World forever. They literally disappeared into thin air in front of everyone. Oliver remains the most popular and at the same time insidious villain in Avatar World. More recently, a kindergarten has appeared in Avatar World. There are a lot of babies in it, and someone has to keep an eye on all of them. This kindergarten teacher's name is Kevin. He loves to play and take care of babies. In kindergarten, he sits right in the bedroom where the babies spend a quiet hour. Kevin doesn't just look after them. He reads them fairy tales while sitting in a rocking chair. And so, Kevin, a character from Avatar World, is not just a babysitter or kindergarten teacher. He is much more. His story in the game begins quite unusually. Kevin used to be a famous traveler in Avatar World, exploring various corners of the world. He saw wonderful landscapes, met various characters, and collected amazing stories from all over the world. But one day, while traveling around Avatar World, he came across a kindergarten where the children were full of energy, but seemed a little lonely. Kevin, whose heart has always been open to adventure, felt that his new vocation was to take care of children and share his stories with them. He decided to stay in kindergarten, where his love of adventure and stories turned into fabulous lessons for children. In the kindergarten bedroom, where Kevin spends a quiet hour, he does not just read fairy tales to children. Every story he tells is filled with adventures and wisdom that he collected in his travels. Not only pillows and blankets are stored in his rocking chair, but also an Avatar World map showing all the places he visited. In addition, Kevin has a unique hobby. He collects rare virtual plants and minerals from different parts of Avatar World and uses them to create educational games and activities for children. These games not only entertain children, but also teach them to appreciate nature and the world around them. In the evenings, when the children fall asleep, Kevin writes down his thoughts and discoveries in a special magazine, which he plans to publish one day as a guide to Avatar World for young researchers. So, Kevin has become an integral part of the kindergarten and Avatar world, mixing the wisdom of a traveler with warmth and care for children, inspiring them to their own little adventures in the safe and cozy walls of the kindergarten. At the train station in the game Avatar world, there is a clown named Jingo. With his red hair, colorful outfit, and bright red nose, he easily stands out from the crowd. Jingo is not just a clown, he is a magician of moments, able to bring a smile to the face of everyone who passes by. Jingo did not come to this virtual world by chance. He is looking for his old friend, a departed clown named Bobo, who is said to have left a trail of magic all over Avatar world. In every city where Jingo stops, he gives joy and laughter by juggling colored balls that sparkle and change colors with each throw. The secret of Jingo is that his balls are not just objects for juggling. They are also the keys to solving the mystery of Bobo. Each ball represents a memory, a story, or a feeling that they experience together. And when Jingo skillfully throws them into the air, he is not just entertaining the audience. He is looking for clues that will lead him to the next clue on the way to his dear friend. So the next time you visit Avatar World and see Jingo, know that you are seeing not only a clown, but also an adventurer whose heart is full of love and nostalgia for the old days of fun and friendship. In the magical world of Avatar World, there is one wonderful girl named Zara, who works in a beauty salon right in a large and colorful shopping mall. Zara is not just a makeup artist, she is a real wizard of brushes and paints. When Zara was little, she loved to draw, on paper, on leaves, and even on walls when her mother wasn't looking. She could sit for hours and draw anything from beautiful flowers to funny animals. Then when she grew up, Zara realized that her real passion was to make people happy by turning their faces into amazing pictures. There is always a lot of light and joy in her salon. When someone comes to Zara, she smiles and asks, "What do you want to be today? A superhero? A princess? Maybe a magical fairy?" And then the magic begins. Zara takes her magic brushes and everything starts to shine and shimmer. Zara knows how to make makeup become a fun game. She turns her cheeks into pink clouds and her lips into bright flowers. And her palette of shadows looks like a rainbow after a summer rain. After Zara finishes her magic, people look in the mirror and smile because they see their dream reflected in their own face. And every time Zara knows that she has taken another small step towards making the world a little brighter and more fun. That's why she loves her job, because she can share her joy and beauty with others. This is a janitor named Grayson. Grayson has been working at Avatar World School for a very long time. Everyone at school knows him, both teachers and students. Grayson is already 55 years old. He has gray hair and a very thick beard. In addition to keeping the school clean, he works as an undercover security guard. Therefore, he makes a remark to everyone who makes loud noises in the corridor. Grayson wasn't always a janitor. In his youth, he was a famous researcher and alchemist who studied the secrets of the Avatar world. He could study the magical objects of this world for hours. Grayson, while at Avatar World School, not only maintained order and security, but also secretly passed on his knowledge of magic and alchemy to some selected students. He had a unique ability to sense magical talents in people, and when he discovered particularly gifted children, he conducted secret classes with them after school hours. Among Grayson's students were the future great magicians and alchemists of Avatar World. He taught them not only the basics of magic, but also the importance of secrecy, discipline, and responsibility to the power they possessed. The students loved Grayson's lessons very much because they were very interesting, and Grayson loved to teach classes. Hello friends, my name is Rosa. Today I'm going to tell you the story of an incredible Halloween character that you definitely didn't notice. It can be found in an ice cream cafe, but very few have managed to do so. Therefore, nothing is known about her at all. But today I will reveal this secret to you. Her name is Britney, and her Halloween costume is ice cream. However, it is not simple, but Halloween with spiders and a really creepy look. This costume was made for her by her friend Avery. She made it out of a regular ice cream costume and spiders. Avery loves making Halloween costumes, and Britney really liked this costume because she loves ice cream very much. Oddly enough, Britney works in an ice cream cafe. On the day of the holiday, she decided to make a gift to all visitors of this cafe. At night, the day before Halloween, Britney and her friend Avery snuck into a cafe, but they came there for a reason. As I said, Avery loves to sew costumes, especially for Halloween. She decided to make a gift to visitors and sewed a whole bunch of different scary Halloween costumes. So, at night the girls brought these costumes directly to the cafe. They spread them all over the cafe on tables and chairs. In addition, Avery decorated the cafe with cobwebs and spiders to create a creepy atmosphere. In the morning, visitors started coming to the cafe. They were all very surprised by the costumes lying everywhere and the decorations hanging. However, without thinking twice, they started wearing these costumes. By the evening, all the visitors were already dressed in costumes, and they had a festive party. But Britney noticed something strange. Frankenstein's costume has disappeared somewhere, and with it, one of the visitors. She felt uneasy. because she remembered well that this costume was one of the most impressive and caused a lot of delight among visitors. On the floor, she noticed a small piece of paper on which there was a map pointing to an old house in the middle of the forest. Britney and Avery decided to go to this building to find the missing visitor and return the Frankenstein costume. Inside, they found not only a Frankenstein costume, but also a missing visitor who turned out to be a master at creating costumes. He was so inspired by the atmosphere of the cafe and the costumes that he decided to try the image of Frankenstein on himself and make a joke by disappearing from the party. Everyone laughed when they found out the truth and returned to the cafe to continue the fun. Now Britney, Avery, and their new friend have unforgettable memories of this day. So the next story will be about, perhaps, the most secret character of Halloween in Avatar World. Unlike Britney and other Halloween friends, Avery didn't sew a costume for this character. Have you guessed who I'm talking about? I'll explain everything now. His name is Mike. Mike loves Halloween very much for its atmosphere and fun that can be arranged, but he completely forgot to make himself a Halloween suit. The fact is that Mike has a secret hobby that he hides from everyone. This hobby is playing with his pet Jerry. Jerry is a little hamster that was given to Mike by his parents when he was a child. Mike only plays with Jerry at night because he's too busy with his work at the bakery during the day. Mike loves to play with Jerry on the playground right next to the pet store. And then one day, after playing with Jerry until late, Mike realized that he had completely forgotten to make a Halloween costume. Because of so many things, he had no time to make himself a suit. Mike thought for a very long time what to do, because all the shops are already closed, and the Halloween party, to which all his friends will come in creepy costumes, will be tomorrow morning. He decided that since it would no longer be possible to buy a suit, he would have to look for materials at home. Mike lives on the outskirts of town in a big 2-story house, not far from Avery, and there should definitely be something suitable in this big house. However, Mike could not find something similar to a Halloween costume. But suddenly he came up with a brilliant idea. He immediately ran for the scissors that were at the bottom. Mike won't sew, but cut the suit with scissors. Do you know what it's made of? Mike's parents bought a mummy toilet paper statue for Halloween. Now it's standing in their toilet. Mike decided to try to cut himself a mummy costume right out of toilet paper. He picked up a pair of scissors and got to work. Just a few hours later, the costume was completely ready. Mike looked around in the mirror and was amazed at his skill. His costume looked like a real mummy, and it was amazing. The next day, Mike came to the party in his new Halloween costume. All his friends were amazed at how plausible his mummy looked, and they don't stop being surprised at him. After the party, Mike went back to the pet store and met up with Jerry. He tried to scare him too, and it turned out well. Jerry was perplexed that his friend was missing. However, later, the hamster understood everything, and they laughed together. Now, I will tell you the story of a character who is a relative of one of those whose story I have already told today. This is Gloria, and she's Britney's sister. Gloria appeared in the game for a long time, but a very small number of people know about it. She, like Britney, works in an ice cream cafe, but there is something that no one knows about her. Gloria constantly looks tired, and all because of her secret, which I will tell you about now. At night, when the cafe closes, Britney and the other workers go home. But Gloria doesn't go with them. No one guessed why Gloria was really doing this. In fact, she was not going home, but to the basketball court. The thing is that Gloria loves to play basketball, despite the fact that she has absolutely no time for it during the day. As a child, Gloria was a professional player, and she participated in school basketball competitions. But one day, her sister Britney invited her to have lunch at a cafe, and Gloria agreed. The girls liked the ice cream they tasted so much that they both decided they wanted to work there. But this job had one big minus. Gloria didn't have time to play basketball anymore. Therefore, in order to continue playing it, she had to come to the basketball court after work when everyone had already gone home. It was her little secret that she kept from her family and colleagues. There she met her friends who also loved this game, and they spent hours playing basketball under bright lights and a starry sky. For Gloria, it was a way to relax and forget about everyday worries. The next character whose story I will tell you today will be the witch Jenny, or rather, two characters at once, Jenny and Penny. On Halloween, they both prepared witch costumes to have fun in them and scare people on holiday. They chose witches for a reason. Jenny and Penny work in the school cafeteria, and they constantly have to deal with different soups. That's why they decided to change into witches, because they are already used to cooking. It's not clear what. Just kidding. They are good cooks, but in addition to soups, they know how to brew potions. Let's start with Jenny's story. Jenny has an unusual hobby. At night, when everyone goes to bed and the shops close, she sneaks into the Avatar World shopping center. But not just like that. In fact, she really likes to play a racing slot machine. In fact, the game room in the mall is never closed and works around the clock, but at night they have very few visitors. And when no one is left in the mall at night, she can play freely as much as she wants. After all, at night there is no one who could take her place in the queue for this slot machine, as it happens during the day. But besides the racing machine, she really likes this one. You need to dance correctly on this slot machine to win. Jenny really likes to dance. She was the best dancer at the school disco. Therefore, she can dance the best of all, even on this fun slot machine. Now I'm going to tell you about her friend Penny. She, unlike Jenny, likes to do her hobbies during the day, not at night. Usually, she likes to go to clothing stores and do shopping. Most often, she goes to this clothing store. Penny just loves to dress fashionably, so she can stay in the store until it closes. Penny loves to dress up and show her image to friends. Now she even performs at a fashion show, posing on stage in front of photographers in her new outfits. Penny dreams of becoming a model, and it was Penny who came up with the idea to dress up in witch costumes because she really liked these hates. But another interesting story happened to Penny. One night she didn't go home to sleep like she usually does. That evening, Jenny invited her friend to go to the mall with her. They went there together and were alone in the whole playroom. Jenny offered to compete in the game, Who is the Best Dancer, on the slot machine, and Penny agreed. They danced for a very long time, but in the end they drew. The next day, the girls began to prepare for the holiday. And so, before Halloween, the girls have prepared a whole bunch of different things for the holiday in the backyard. Here they have collected all the things that fit their outfits. In the evening, when the guests came, Penny and Jenny showed off their amazing costumes and invited everyone to their backyard. There they had a real Halloween party with music, dancing, and fun. Penny even decided to demonstrate her dancing skills, which she discovered at the mall, and everyone was delighted. This Halloween was unforgettable for Penny and Jenny, and they enjoyed spending this holiday together, laughing and dancing until midnight. And the guests they invited were also very pleased with such a fun holiday, and they stayed with Jenny and Penny for a very long time. Emma was one of the first characters introduced in Avatar World. Her appearance could be seen on the logo of the first version of the game and on various screenshots, which gave her a special place in the hearts of the players. But inside the game, its location and history remained a mystery. There were legends about the mysterious Emma in the game. People said that she was the guardian of the world of Avatar World, hidden in the deepest corners of this magical world. Her home was considered an invisible and powerful refuge, where she watched the events of the world and helped in case of disaster. Stories about Emma have become a legend in Avatar World, and her presence on the logo of the first version of the game always reminded players of the mystery of this fascinating world. Emma remained a symbol of the fact that Avatar World is full of unsolved secrets and closed locations. Subsequently, when the game became more popular, most new players forgot about Emma, so now you can only find her in the very first version of the game. Now, I will show you the location where you can find it in Avatar World 1.10. First, we go to this location. Great! Emma is usually right in the fitting room behind this curtain. Wow, here she is! Yes, this is the legendary Emma from the logo of the first version of Avatar World. But what is she doing here? Have you ever noticed that there are viewers near the stage, but no one performs on the stage itself at any of the 3 locations? The thing is that Emma was supposed to perform at the concert. Emma loves to listen to music, but few people know that Emma herself can also play guitar and perform at concerts. She especially likes to play the rock guitar, but the developers forgot to move it from the fitting room directly to the stage. By the way, Emma is already 15 years old and she is still in school. Her favorite subjects are music and drawing. You didn't know it for sure, but Emma is a speedrunner. She's been running for as long as she's been drawing. Thanks to this, she became the best runner in school. The next character whose story I'm going to tell you is Dr. Jessica. Dr. Jessica was an outstanding medical specialist in Avatar World. She worked in one of the best hospitals in this wonderful world and was known for her professionalism in caring for patients. Her office was filled with medicines and medical devices, and at any time of the day or night, Jessica was ready to respond to the call. She not only treated physical illnesses, but also helped residents cope with emotional difficulties and gave advice on strengthening the spirit. Jessica had a cousin who was a mentor to many medical students who studied under her and strived to become as outstanding doctors as Jessica. Jessica's cousin's name is Zara. Zara showed outstanding abilities and passion for medicine, and she, like Jessica, was a successful doctor. Her specialty was pediatrics, and she worked with children, helping them overcome illnesses and taking care of their health. The next character whose story I will tell you today is quite famous, as it is located in one of the most popular locations. However, her story is known only to a few people on the whole planet. This character is a DJ named Flora. Flora was an unusual girl with a bright personality and passionate passions. Her passion for music began in childhood when she saw her grandfather's old guitar when she went camping with him. At first sight, she fell in love with the magic of music, and this was the beginning of her musical path. When Flora turned 14, she decided that she wanted to become a DJ and perform in a club. Her mixes were filled with lively energy and harmony of sounds that made the dance floors shake to the rhythm of the music. She performed in various clubs and at music festivals, winning the hearts of a large audience. Over the years, Flora has become not only a skilled DJ, but also an excellent dancer. The next character I'm going to tell you about today is Teacher Alice from school number 5. Yes, there are about 5 schools in Avatar World, but since the game appeared quite recently, the developers did not have time to create them all. Therefore, there are many construction sites on the map and along its edges. By the way, there should be school number 2 here, but it hasn't been built yet. And so back to Alice. Alice was a young teacher who worked at a local school in a small town. She was known for her outstanding teaching abilities, but her colleagues and students also noticed that she always looked tired and sleepy. The reason for this constant drowsiness was that Alice led a double life. In the evenings and weekends, she was engaged in her hobby, astronomy. At night, she would return to school with her little telescope, go out on the football field, and watch the stars and planets for hours. She dreamed of understanding the secrets of the universe and passing on her knowledge to her students. That's why she worked as a teacher to inspire young minds and share her love for the stars. She organized school observation sessions where students could see planets and galaxies through her telescope. Alice tried to make learning astronomy exciting and interesting for her students. Even though she was constantly tired, Alice was happy doing what she loved. Now, I want to tell you the most interesting story, and it will be about the girl from the cottage in nature. Alice lived alone in a secluded house on the edge of the city, surrounded by a dense forest. She was 15 years old, and she was raised by her environmentalist parents, who went on a long expedition trip, leaving her to take care of the house and nature. Since childhood, Alice has been fascinated by nature. She studied the forest, observing animals, studying plants and ponds around her house. She felt a deep connection with the surrounding nature and fought resolutely for its preservation. Her only companion was a girl named Mia, a neighbor girl who often came to visit. They spent a lot of time exploring the nature around the house, learning how to take care of plants and taking care of animals. Mia was a girl with a huge passion for water and the underwater world. She lived next to Alice, in a small house surrounded by woods and close to a natural pond. Since early childhood, Mia dreamed of becoming a diver and exploring the underwater world. When Mia met Alice, who was a nature conservationist, they immediately became inseparable friends. Alice taught Mia how to protect the environment, and Mia shared with Alice her skills and knowledge in the field of diving. Every day, Mia deepened her knowledge about the underwater world, and this became her vocation. She often swam in the pond next to Alice's house, exploring the aquatic plants and inhabitants of this world. Mia has become an experienced turtleneck capable of long and exciting dives. One day, during one of her dives, Mia noticed something strange at the bottom of the lake. It turned out that it was an old gramophone and a closed treasure chest. Mia quickly swam out of the lake and went to call Alice. Together with Alice, they pulled out a gramophone. It was very heavy. When Alice and Mia got the gramophone out of the water, they decided to listen to the record that Alice had at home on it. But the chest turned out to be too heavy, and Alice and Mia couldn't get it from the bottom of the lake. And then they decided that since they both know how to dive underwater well, then why don't they open the chest right under the water? Alice knew where the key to the chest was, because her parents had lost this chest a long time ago. They took the key and went diving under the water. Right under the water, Alice opened the chest, in which it turned out to be a lot of treasures. They agreed that they would share all the treasures equally. There was a plush toy, a lot of coins, and a diamond in the chest. But since there were only 3 treasures and there were 2 girls, they couldn't divide them equally. And then Alice decided to give Mia all of her treasures. Alice and Mia have been best friends ever since. Hello everyone. Today I will tell you an unusual story about 2 very interesting friends. Let's start with the first character named Ruby. Ruby made herself a very unusual pumpkin costume for Halloween, but she liked it so much that she still wears it. One day, Ruby went to have lunch at a cafe on the 3rd floor of the shopping center with her friends. Each of the friends took a burger, and Ruby decided to do something unusual. She decided to make the biggest burger in Avatar World. However, when the burger was already reaching the ceiling, a crown fell out of some hatch. The girl was very surprised by this and asked her friends if they knew what it was. But friends also did not understand what happened and where this crown fell from. One of Ruby's friends suggested just sitting down at the table to eat, and they agreed. There was very little space at the table, so Ruby put her crown on a lying nearby toy hamburger. Suddenly, to the girl's surprise, the hamburger came to life. All of Ruby's friends were scared, but Ruby herself decided to scare this character. And now the newly revived hamburger has already changed its appearance from fear and ran away. Without much thought, Ruby chased after it. The hamburger was hidden far away in the slot machine room, but Ruby found it anyway. She then asked, "Who are you and how did you come to life?" It turned out that this hamburger's name was Sammy, and he had come from the world of food to the Avatar world to see the people and the food here. Ruby asked how he managed to change his appearance so quickly, and Sammy explained that it was his Halloween costume, and he would immediately put it on out of fear to scare whoever frightened him. Ruby laughed a lot when she heard Sammy's story. She told Sammy that everyone in Avatar World is friendly and that he shouldn't have been so worried and apologized for scaring him. They sat down at a table in a room with slot machines and Ruby started telling him about herself. Ruby's main hobby is cooking. The girl loves to bake not ordinary cakes, but colored ones. Guests adore her pastries because she is very beautiful and delicious. Ruby has friends who were scared by Sammy's appearance. It's Katie, Charlotte, and Riley. Sammy also talked about himself and his friends, or rather, about one friend. It was Jeremy, and he works in the same game room in which they are now sitting together with Ruby. However, he does not show that he knows Sammy, because he promised not to tell anyone about him and his secret. Sammy's sandwich is so big for a reason. In the magical world of food from where he came to Avatar World, all the inhabitants are food of very large sizes. Ruby and Sammy's sandwich chatted for a very long time until night came and it was time for Ruby to go home. Since then, they have become very good friends and often had lunch together in this cafe. Well, now I'm going to tell you about two unusual sisters that you've definitely never met in Avatar World. And it's all because they are not just sisters, but alien sisters. Their names are Lucy and Lily, and they are very similar to each other in appearance, but very different in hobbies. Let's start with Lucy. Lucy is the eldest of the sisters. Her appearance is not at all similar to Earthlings. Most of all, she was singled out by these fashionable alien glasses. Her skin was green and her hair was an unusual purple color. Despite the fact that Lucy is an alien, she, like Earthlings, goes to school. But not in order to study. The whole point is that Lucy works as a teacher. And she also has a superpower that only aliens have. She can animate various inanimate objects. One evening after work, Lucy did not go home as she usually does, but stayed at school. But not just like that. She wanted to try to do something unusual. The school has a skeleton that children can use to study biology, and Lucy decided to revive it. Lucy took off her alien glasses and started concentrating on the skeleton. The skeleton immediately came to life and jumped up. The story of this skeleton was quite amazing. It stood in the school office for a long time and was used by students for educational purposes. None of the students knew where it came from or who this skeleton belonged to. The skeleton was in good condition, but no one knew that it harbored something more than just anatomical knowledge. Lucy was very curious. Whose skeleton is this? And very soon she got the answer to her question. This unusual skeleton is called Larry, and it did not belong to any person. Have you already guessed why? And all because it is not real and is made of plastic. In fact, every night Larry comes to life on his own, without Lucy's help. He does this because he very loves to dance. However, due to the fact that he stands in one place all day, he has to wait until midnight to finally start moving. But Larry had a problem. In the evening, the students finish their lessons, and they go home, and he has no one to dance with at all. Lucy was very sorry for Larry because he was always alone. So she decided to surprise him. She told him that she forgot something at home and left school for a while. In fact, Lucy didn't go home. She went to the dance club to ask for a pair of dance mats. The main DJ of the club, Flora, gladly gave them to her. Lucy ran back to school, looking forward to surprise her new friend Larry. She immediately ran to the office to show what she had brought. When Larry saw the two dance mats, he was insanely happy. After all, now he will finally be able to dance not alone, as he usually does. Lucy and Larry spread out the dance mats and started dancing. Larry has never been so happy as today, because now he has a new friend with whom he can dance together at least every day. Now it's time to tell you about Lucy's younger sister, Lily. Lily is an even more mysterious character. She also wears alien glasses, her skin is also green, but she only wears dresses. What do you think Lily does in her free time? She, like us, loves to play video games, and she constantly plays them in her room. Lily's parents don't like it at all, but Lily keeps playing anyway. One day, her parents got tired of the fact that Lily only plays her console all day, and they sent her for a walk. However, while walking, she decided to go to the mall. At the mall, Lily, oddly enough, decided to go to the toy store. She was very surprised that there are so many different toys. But most of all, she liked these alien toys that are in the closet that looks like a rocket because they reminded her of her home. But besides these toys, she noticed something else very interesting and unusual. It was a form for a robot, next to which only his head was lying. Lily became very interested, and she decided to try to assemble the whole robot as a whole. She had to go around the entire shopping center and go to the barber shop, beauty salon, and electronics store to put all the parts for the robot together. And finally, she found the last part of the robot. As soon as she put it in the form, the robot immediately turned on. This robot's name is Richard, and I've already made a video with his story. However, with Lily, he had a completely unusual situation. As you remember, her older sister Lucy has superpowers, thanks to which she can animate inanimate objects. So Lily also has a superpower, but a little different. When she takes off her glasses, something incredible happens to the object she looks at. It becomes made of pumpkin! Lily decided to try her superpower on Richard, and she did it. Richard was very scared and instantly began to consist entirely of a pumpkin, and not of metal as before. But Richard was not upset at all, because he is a very smart robot and knows how to turn back into an ordinary Richard. However, he enjoyed playing with Lily so much that he decided that he would be a pumpkin robot while playing with her, so that they both had more fun. Since then, Richard and Lily have become best friends, and they have played together very often. And so, the next story will be about a character who is the most creepy among all in Avatar world. I'm also sure you've never seen him. This character's name is Madison, and she's the scariest clown in Avatar world. Madison loves to scare people. But actually, she is not a scary girl at all. Do you know why she scares people with her costume? I'll tell you now. In fact, it was Halloween in the world of Avatar world quite recently, and Madison made herself an incredibly scary and believable-looking clown costume. She and her friends had fun and scared people on the day of the holiday. And so, Madison and her friends decided to arrange a competition in who can scare the most people. And oddly enough, Madison won. All her friends were very impressed with this ability to scare people. Now that the holiday is over, Madison doesn't want to scare people anymore. On the contrary, she wants to amuse them like a clown. But in order to stop scaring people, she had to change her costume a little. She took off her cloak spider legs and wiped off her makeup. Without that creepy makeup, Madison looked like the kindest clown in the world, and now it was really like that. Now the girl performs at children's birthday parties in the Avatar world, creating a festive and friendly atmosphere for them. The children really liked Madison as a kind and funny clown. And Madison herself also now really likes to amuse people, not scare them. Since then, Madison's main hobby has been entertaining children and adults, because she really liked it. Hello, dear viewers. Today, I will share with you an amazing story about a mysterious character from the popular game Avatar World, which few people know about. Her name is Vanessa, and although many players have seen her on the loading screen, however, nothing is known about her story. I've already told you about her friend Ella on my YouTube channel, and now it's time to reveal Vanessa's story. This character is unique in that it is impossible to find him in normal gameplay, which adds to her mystery and intrigue. Vanessa is the soul of the company and a master of party management. She loves to gather friends at her house, where every evening turns into an unforgettable adventure. Her house is a place where you can take a break from everyday worries. In it, you can immerse yourself in a world of fun and joy. At these parties, everyone can transform into anyone, thanks to a huge selection of outfits and accessories. Vanessa loves to surprise her guests, each time offering a new theme for the party, from fairy tales to space adventures. But in fact, Vanessa is not just a party planner. Her secret hobby is the creation of magical artifacts and spells. Vanessa, hiding under the guise of a welcoming hostess, was actually a master of magic and alchemy in Avatar world. Her party served only as a facade for her true passion and mission learning ancient spells, and creating magical items that could change the course of the game. In a secret room of her magnificent house, hidden from the guests, there was a laboratory full of rare ingredients, ancient scrolls, and mysterious artifacts. Here, Vanessa spent hours researching and experimenting with various magical substances and spells. These artifacts and spells had unique abilities, from opening hidden portals to temporarily enhancing the character's skills. However, Vanessa did not share her creations with other residents of Avatar world. Do you see this character? Her name is April. She is one of the most mysterious characters in Avatar world. Try to guess in the comments why. But in the meantime, I'll tell you about it. In fact, April is the most popular streamer in Avatar World. She plays games and broadcasts all day long. Would you like to watch one of April's streams? I would definitely like to. By the way, April has two sisters. These are Mia and Janice, April's younger sisters. They all have a common favorite thing, playing video games. They have parties at home together, playing threesome on a game console. But this is far from April's main secret. The mystery of this character does not lie in the love of video games. In fact, April is the first and only character in Avatar World who has done something impossible. She managed to find two girlfriends, Ella and Vanessa, who are in the same place. There are rumors that only 3 residents of Avatar World have seen Ella, not counting her only friend Vanessa. But April met 2 at once. At first she was scared, because the last character who met them together disappeared forever. April, although she was initially scared to meet Ella and Vanessa, soon realized that they were actually kind and friendly characters. Ella and Vanessa were known in Avatar World for their ability to appear in the most unexpected places, and their rare appearances were always accompanied by exciting adventures. April decided that this was a great opportunity for her next stream. She invited Ella and Vanessa to join her, Mia and Janice, in their game party. The characters gathered at April's house, where they organized a big game marathon, including their favorite video games. During the game, April and her sisters learned a lot about their new friends. It turned out that Ella and Vanessa loved to travel to different worlds of Avatar World and help other characters. They told a lot of amazing stories about the places they visited and the characters they met. April's stream featuring Ella and Vanessa has become one of the most popular. The audience was delighted with their stories and adventures. Many of them started dreaming about their adventures in Avatar World. Since then, April, Mia, Janice, Ella, and Vanessa have been streaming every week. They played various games from Avatar World, talked about their adventures, and even created new stories together. Their streams became a real hit among children and teenagers who were looking forward to each new episode. Meanwhile, while the teenagers are waiting for new broadcasts, one of April's friends is engaged in an even more exciting things. This friend's name is Emmy. Agree, she looks very unusual. It's all because of her rock star image. Do you know why he dresses like that? Emmy, April's friend, really looks unusual, and it's no accident. Her style is not just a fashion statement or an attempt to stand out. It is a reflection of her inner world and passions. What do you think her hobby is? Of course, this is a rock guitar playing, but she had a distinctive feature from the rest of the Avatar World guitarists. The thing is that the rest of the musicians perform only at real concerts, but Amy doesn't like them at all. Instead, she prefers to hold concerts at her home school, where she studied many years ago. When Amy arrives at school to perform a concert, all the students and even the teachers line up around her and ask for an autograph. Emmy had a younger sister, Charlotte, who also attended this school. Charlotte has always been proud of her older sister and dreamed of becoming an equally talented musician. But Charlotte was modest and didn't like being the center of attention, so she often helped Emmy backstage, tuning her guitar for her sister's performance. At one of the concerts at school, Emmy decided to surprise everyone and invited Charlotte on stage. At that moment, Charlotte was very worried, but Emmy supported her because it was very important for Charlotte. Charlotte took the guitar, and together with Emmy, they played a wonderful duet. The whole hall was delighted with the wonderful music of these two talented sisters. Charlotte realized that music really unites people and gives them joy. Since then, Charlotte has been performing more often with Emmy, and their concerts at school have become even more popular. But besides the school concerts, there was something else very exciting going on at Avatar World. Among Vanessa's friends, there was one unusual girl with an interesting story. She got into Avatar World by accident, and she is not a permanent resident of it. Her name is Susan, and she is the most unusual character from Avatar World despite the fact that she does not live here. Susan and Vanessa became friends in an unusual place. It was a children's camp right on the outskirts of the city. From there, Susan's acquaintance with the world of Avatar World began. One morning, Vanessa was relaxing at this camp. But suddenly, strange things started happening. There were sounds like footsteps coming from the kitchen. Vanessa decided to check out what was going on there. As soon as Vanessa entered the kitchen, she discovered that these strange sounds were coming from a small portal that suddenly opened right there. The light from the portal illuminated the entire kitchen, creating an unreal sight. Vanessa was amazed, because she had never seen anything like it before. Suddenly, a little girl came out of the portal. It was Susan. She was wearing bright clothes and looked a little confused. Vanessa, despite her surprise, approached her and introduced herself. Susan said that she came from another world and that this was her first trip to Avatar World. Susan explained that she is a researcher of various worlds and that her goal is to learn as much as possible about Avatar World. Vanessa, delighted with her story, offered to help her with the research. That's how their friendship began. Over the next few days, Vanessa showed Susan the school where Emmy performed, various corners of the city, and introduced her to her friends. Susan was delighted with everything she saw. She wrote down all her observations in a small notebook that she always carried with her. One day, Vanessa invited Susan to an Emmy concert at school. Susan was amazed by Emmy's talent and the atmosphere of friendliness and fun that reigned around. After the concert, Susan said that Avatar World is a place where dreams become reality and that she will never forget this experience. As soon as it was time for Susan to return to her world, she said goodbye to Vanessa and promised to return. Vanessa waved after her as Susan disappeared into the light of the portal. Vanessa has another friend named Jennifer. She's a very special character. Have you figured out why yet? No? Then I'll explain it now. A long time ago in Avatar World, in one of the very first versions of the game, there was a character who was the face of the game itself. Her face was literally on the game icon. This character's name was Emma. I've already told her story on my channel. So, Emma was a very secret character, and very few people managed to find her. Now that the game has become very popular, new players don't even know that Emma once existed here. However, there is still a character in the game who is very similar to her. Yes, I'm talking to you about Emma's sister Jennifer. Emma and Jennifer are very good friends with each other, but no one has ever seen them anywhere together. Jennifer, as the sister of the legendary Emma, also has her own characteristics and secrets. It has become a kind of bridge between the old and new versions of the game, connecting the past with the present. Jennifer, although similar to her famous sister, has her own unique story and character. She is known among the players for her mystery and the unusual tasks she offers. Players who meet her in the game are often unaware of her connection to Emma, which makes her character particularly interesting to explore. Hello, friends! Today I will tell you about a very interesting character from the Avatar world. I'm sure you've definitely never heard of her. This girl's name is Caroline, and she's in school. Caroline has friends, Haley and Holly, but I'll tell you about them later. Caroline loves to study at school. Her favorite lesson is drawing. After school, she plays with her dog Bella outside her house in the backyard. But in addition to studying at school and playing with the dog, Caroline is engaged in a very unusual hobby. Have you guessed which one? I'll tell you now. Caroline doesn't go home right away after school, because Caroline participates in beauty contests. Immediately after the end of lessons, Caroline, Haley, and Holly go to the competition. They really want to get the title of the most beautiful girls in the Avatar world. Caroline's house has a whole wardrobe with a huge amount of clothes. They take a very long time choosing clothes to win. Girlfriends need outfits that will look the best. One day, right before the contest, Caroline and her friends discovered that there were no more clothes in the house. Girls have combined outfits so often that there are no more ones that they haven't worn yet. Caroline, Haley, and Holly had to go to the store to buy new clothes. After the purchase, they came on the place for beauty contests. The friends performed on stage, and the audience really liked their outfits. The jury chose Caroline, Haley, and Holly as winners and presented them with awards and cups. Since then, Caroline, Haley, and Holly have held the title of the most fashionable and beautiful girls in Avatar World. The next story will be about one of Caroline's friends, namely about Haley. Haley appeared in Avatar World recently. It can only be found in one secret place. Haley can be found in the ballet hall. She loves dancing and especially ballet. However, even here it is quite difficult to meet her. All because she rarely comes to lessons, due to the fact that Haley is busy with one very important thing right now. She has a new exciting hobby. The girl decided to organize a real musical rock band. But for this she needed several participants, because Haley's group cannot consist of one person. For a long time, she reasoned who she could invite to her music group. Haley decided that in order to create the perfect rock band, she needed members who would share her passion for music and be able to give the band a unique sound. She began her search among her friends in Avatar World. The first person Haley decided to invite was her friend Caroline, with whom they often spent time in the ballroom. Caroline was a great singer and had incredible vocals, which could become a real highlight in the sound of the band. The second participant Haley decided to invite was her friend Holly. She was a talented musician, playing guitar and keyboards. Haley confidently knew that with her musical abilities, the band would acquire an incomparable sound. Having gathered such a talented cast, Haley began rehearsals. They met in the ballroom after lessons to combine their love of music and dancing. Over time, the band sounded better, and soon they decided it was time to give their first concert at Avatar World. The story of Haley and her rock band has become a real event in the Avatar world. People from all over the world came to hear their unique sound and watch the energetic performances. It was something incredible, and Haley was happy that she was able to unite her friends in this exciting musical adventure. The next character from the group is Holly. Holly and Haley are sisters, so she has an unusual talent. Holly is a photographer, and her passion for photography adds interest to their musical group. Holly, a passionate photographer and a new member of the band. She brought a fresh look and a unique creative style to it. Her style of photography was bright, intense, and full of emotions, which was a great addition to the musical compositions of Haley and her friends. Before each concert, Holly held photo shoots where she captured the laughter, fun, and beauty of the members of the musical group. Her camera became a kind of magical window into their musical world, capturing every note and emotion. Holly wasn't limited to photography. She created visual effects for performances using multicolored spotlights. Her creative take on special effects for music gave the band an extra layer of energy. At concerts, her lighting effects combined with music turned everything around into a work of art. The audience was completely immersed in the atmosphere of fun and joy at the concerts. Now, along with the band's music, Holly is creating photos. Her photos have become part of the band's history, complementing the musical performance with amazing visual impressions. And so friends, in one of the previous videos I told you the story of this girl. Her name is Mia. Now I'm going to tell you about her mysterious relative, which you didn't even know about. This relative is Mia's older sister named Janice. Janice can be found very rarely, all because she is constantly busy at her job. But I will tell you about her work a little later. When Janice comes to visit Mia, her younger sister is very happy about it, as is Janice herself. They have similar interests. Janice loves to play video games with Mia. Together they can play all day without a break. Their common hobby is hiking in the forest, where they spend time enjoying nature and solving the mysteries of adventure trails. Janice, despite her busy schedule, always finds time for family. She works for a mysterious organization dedicated to the search and protection of rare toys. Her work is very secret, so Janice rarely tells details about her. However, now I will tell you about it. Janice works as a secret agent to find toys. One day, when she and her sister were walking in the woods, Janice noticed something strange. It was a toy. At first, she thought that someone just lost it, but after looking closely, she realized that this is not a simple toy. Then she remembered about the magic stand. This magical stand holds the rarest Avatar World toys. There are legends that if you put all 5 toys together, something unusual will happen. Janice and Mia took this toy with them and ran to the stand. When they put down the 5th toy, a new toy appeared. It was a toy dragon. Janice was very glad that together with Mia, they finally solved this incredible riddle. Now it's time for you to find out about another unknown character from the world of Avatar World. You've probably never heard of him. This character is very difficult to find because he is constantly busy with work. He is known and loved by all residents of the city. This character is the mayor of Avatar World. He is one of the busiest residents of the city because he has to look after the whole city at the same time. On weekends, the mayor likes to stay at home with his family, but he does not always do this. One of the mayor's main hobbies is diving. The mayor and his family really like to swim right under the water because there opens up a whole world of marine life. The mayor has been diving for a very long time, but because of the large amount of work, he rarely does it. One day, during one of his dives under the water, the mayor noticed something strange at the bottom. It was a very rare artifact, namely a bag of precious stones and a map. The mayor was very surprised by such a find because he had never found anything like this underwater before. After he found the map and the bag of gems, he took them to his home to show them to his wife and daughter. The wife couldn't believe her eyes when she saw what the mayor brought. Previously, the mayor's wife worked in a company engaged in the search for ancient artifacts, and she worked in it as a finder. So now she knows which artifacts are the most unusual in Avatar World. She told the mayor that these stones belonged to the very first ruler of Avatar World, but one day they were lost. The mayor was shocked by this news. Together with his wife, they decided to take these stones to the school history teacher to make sure of their guesses. The teacher was also surprised by their findings and said that these are really the stones of the first ruler of Avatar World. The mayor and his wife decided to leave this mysterious artifact in the school museum so that the children could study the history of their world using it. So have you heard the story about the guy who sells popcorn in the van? No? Now I'll tell you it. This character's name is Aiden. It can only be found in one place, next to the stage in the Avatar World forest. Aiden stopped here for a reason. In fact, he was supposed to be in the supermarket, but he didn't manage to do it, and now I'll tell you exactly why. One day, Aiden had to deliver a lot of popcorn to the Avatar World supermarket, but he couldn't get to it, all because one of his car's wheels came down and he couldn't go any further. Aiden stopped right next to the stage for concerts and performances. Due to the fact that Aiden had a whole van filled with fresh and delicious popcorn, he decided that he would sell it to the audience right there. Over time, concertgoers got used to taking popcorn from Aiden. Now, despite the fact that Aiden has a pump, he still stays at this place to sell popcorn and does not go to the supermarket. He very likes that he can please people with his popcorn. Hello everyone! Today I'll tell you a story about the new characters from the Avatar World Halloween update. Let's start with a girl in a spider costume named Avery. Avery is a very talented girl. She does everything at once, plays the guitar, dances, does yoga, and much more. But her favorite activity is creating costumes. Avery created costumes not only for herself but also for her friends. They eagerly awaited Halloween each year to see in what amazing outfits she would appear before them. But let's talk about her friends later. Once, when Avery was still a child, she was very afraid of spiders. One day, she came home after school and saw a huge spider on the couch in her room and screamed in fear. In reality, it was quite a small spider, but the girl was very frightened. However, this spider was special. It could talk. A spider named Spider Webby promised Avery that he wouldn't bite her, and since then, they became best friends. Now, as it was time to prepare for Halloween, Avery thought long and hard about what she would wear this time. She went through various ideas until she suddenly remembered her spider friend. In that moment, she decided to make a spider costume in honor of her faithful friend, Spider Webby. Avery's friends were also eagerly waiting to find out in what costumes she would appear before them on Halloween. However, she did not just sew a spider costume, but also took Webby himself with her to the holiday. Webby was very happy to be able to celebrate Halloween with Avery, and he could also unravel a big web and climb on the ceiling to decorate it. As soon as she presented her spider costume, her friends were amazed by her creativity and skill. One night on the eve of Halloween, Avery decided to help decorate the classroom at school for this magical holiday. She and her loyal friend, Spider Webby, went to decorate the classroom. When Webby unfolded his web, they both realized that it didn't have the mystical atmosphere they expected, because Webby was alone. But then Webby came up with a great idea. He decided to invite all his spider friends to help. As if by magic, spiders of all the same sizes and colors appeared in a corner of the classroom. They carefully began to create their own cobwebs, which immediately transformed the classroom into a real Halloween world. As soon as they graduated, the classroom became a place of magic and mystery, where every cobweb was like a work of art. That's how Avery and Webby brought mystery and magic to the school classroom by decorating it. Well, now it's time to tell the story of the next character who became part of the Halloween update. This character is one of the scariest in this update, and now I'll tell you why. His name is Spike, and Avery made a skeleton costume for him. Spike was delighted with this costume, because now he could scare and make fun of the residents of the city. Deciding to test his skills in scaring, Spike went to a place where there are always a lot of people, to the mall. Spike chose a room with slot machines to implement his terrifying idea. He thought that when he entered there, everyone would be afraid of him, but it turned out quite the opposite. Spike looked very cute in this costume, and all the visitors, instead of being scared, laughed and admired Spike. He didn't like it at all, because Spike wanted to look scary, not cute. So he decided that he needed to come up with a frightening trick. Since he was wearing a skeleton costume, a great idea came to him. Spike will make a dummy bone out of paper, and will pretend to get real bones. With the help of this paper bone, Spike wanted to do a trick in which he seemed to get this bone out of his skeleton so that everyone would be scared. Spike returned to the store with his bone and performed this trick. All the visitors were horrified by what had happened, and Spike was very funny with their scared faces. Now Spike's costume was no longer laughed at because it was one of the scariest on Halloween, and Spike himself could now scare anyone with his terrifying trick. And so, now I'm going to tell you about the next Halloween character who didn't appear alone. This is the vampire Betty, and she is the queen of bats. You may ask, and with whom did she appear? I'll tell you now. One day, Betty was walking in nature, when suddenly something seemed strange to her. In a small cave, she saw a real bat. It was a mouse named Betsy, and its peculiarity is that it is very big. Betty loved bats very much and was very glad to meet them. Betsy wasn't just a very big bat. When she opened her wings, the vampire's false teeth appeared. She made these for Betty to make her look even scarier. Betty and Betsy became best friends, and on Halloween, they went to scare people together. The first thing they did was go to the bakery to scare the head chef of Avatar World. Betty and Betsy came up behind her to unexpectedly scare her, and so Betty waved her raincoat in front of her and screamed, and the cook even jumped in fear. But the adventures of Betty and Betsy did not end there. After the bakery, the two of them decided to go to Betty's friends who were at Avery's house for a party. All her friends were dressed in Halloween costumes. Betty wanted to introduce her friends to Betsy. Her friends were very happy to have such a meeting, and they continued the party together with a new friend, with teeth that she gave them. Now I'm going to tell you the story of the fourth character you might have seen at this party. Avery made him a Frankenstein costume, and this character's name is Frank. Frank is one of the funniest, but at the same time creepy characters in this update. He loves to play slot machines on the third floor of the supermarket. His favorite slot machine is a racing car, but Frank has a little problem. When he enters the mall, he is simply not allowed there. Frank looks very creepy, so the guard constantly kicks him out of there. But Frank came up with a great plan to get into the mall bypassing the security guard. Frank continued until nightfall, and at night, he went to the mall. When Frank went inside, he saw that the guard had fallen asleep. Frank quietly made his way to the third floor and played his favorite slot machine all night. Well, now I'm going to tell you the stories of characters that you might not even notice. However, they also appeared in the new update. There are only 3 of these secret characters, and now I will tell you the story of each of them. Let's start with a character in a werewolf costume. His favorite place for entertainment is a pet store. The name of this character is Ethan. He loves dogs, so he constantly plays with them in the pet store. But it has another very interesting feature. He can howl like a real wolf. That's why he dressed up in a wolf costume for Halloween. Ethan walked around the pet store and howled at the customers, who in turn were very scared. By the way, among these 3 characters, Ethan A has his complete opposite. This is a girl named Katie, and she's dressed up in a cat costume. Katie, unlike Ethan, is not scary at all. She doesn't like to scare anyone, but for some reason they are still afraid of her. But I'll tell you Katie's story later. So Ethan, in addition to the pet store, often goes to the bakery because he loves the pies that are sold there. And one day, he decided to make fun of the visitors and scare them. But one of the characters he wanted to scare was Spike. Spike decided to take revenge on the wolf and scared him with his trick in return. Later, Ethan and Spike became good friends and recalled that situation with a smile. The next character from this trio whose story I will tell you will be a witch named Jessica. She dressed up as a witch for a reason. She has a magic broom that she usually sweeps the floor with. But on Halloween, she decided to use it as a flying witch's broom. Do you know how she learned to fly? The thing is that Jessica was an unusual witch. While most of the witches in the Avatar world were engaged in brewing potions or charms, Jessica had a unique talent. She could cast a spell on ordinary objects of her magic. Her most favorite creation was a broom, which she used to sweep the floor in her cozy house. With a meaningful smile, Jessica mounted her broom and took off into the night sky. She hovered over the city, watching the glowing windows and colorful decorations that decorated the houses for Halloween. The people below admired her flying and believed that they were seeing a real witch from a fairy tale. When Jessica landed, all the spectators were delighted with her flight, and for them this day will be unforgettable. Well, it's time to tell you Katie's story. Katie, like I said, wore a cat costume for Halloween. She doesn't really like scaring people on Halloween. She likes to dance and have fun on this holiday more. But one day, she still decided to scare one person. It was a cool, moonlit night, and the Halloween atmosphere was felt everywhere. Katie couldn't resist the temptation to play an innocent joke on someone. She conceived a plan to surprise her best friend Avery by pretending to be an ordinary cat. As soon as Katie approached Avery's room, her heart began to beat with excitement. With a well-crafted loud meow, Katie very plausibly portrayed a cat, which greatly frightened her friend. At first, Avery even jumped in fear, but then she recognized Katie and they both laughed at this Halloween joke.